Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. On the agenda tonight, we're going to be taking a look at something that I've never looked at before, and I received a lot of requests to take a look at this particular performance we're going to be taking a look at, but also another performance that I'll be taking a look at as well, and it's beatboxing. I don't really know anything about beatboxing and have never tried it myself in the past, have never analysed it, so we are going to be jumping into it, and I'm going to be pointing out as much as I can as to what's going on. And I think the reason that I've been asked to look at this so much is because of potentially people just wanting to know what's going on with the sound and maybe what's going on production wise as to how this sounds so full and yes, so impressive. As always, the links to the original videos can be found in the description below. We are going to be jumping into this, which is Wing Dopamine, and I'll let it play. Let's see what's going on. I mean, first of all, I've run it through pitch monitoring software, as you can see, and we will get into that. But first of all, and this is amazing. In order to get these sounds in the first place, I'm going to let it play on. So, right, with this intro, the interesting thing is that, I mean, yeah, the sound is just really impressive, and it's going to get even more impressive than this. But the sound is so consistent when we're looking at pitch. This F-sharp 3, and when we've got these held notes, that's going to register in our minds, but with our ears, as being in a particular place. So then the interval of the next note, you can see, is slightly sharp as well. So it will sound so exact, even though we're not technically right over A440 here. These, in relation to each other, are musically in pretty much exactly the same place. So if you imagine playing a keyboard that's maybe at 444 hertz, that's what that would look like, just being ever so slightly above A440. But now moving on, we're now over the G3 there, and I'll play. And we're still maintaining sharp here. So I'll let it move on a bit. And now we're directly over the B3. So all of that first section, and by the way, tuning is huge here. When we're just hearing what is going to be effectively simulating an instrument, and getting that tuning exact is going to make it sound so much more authentic, because instruments are tuned. So when somebody's pretending to be an instrument, if their tuning is off, it's not going to sound as authentic. So yeah, this is just hitting the same pitches and relative pitches all the time because we're ever so slightly sharp. And then we come to this last note, the B3.
The brain's motivation neurotransmitter, dopamine. Dopamine.
So now we're into this. And again, yeah, I mean, this is crazy. The thing that really impresses me here is being able to create all of these different sounds with human vocal cords, the breathing as well, having a continuous output where it's almost like having circular breathing, where I mean, great instrumentalists can do this, like, saxophonists, for example, where they're playing and they are exhaling air and then they're breathing in while they're pushing out the air that they've kept in their mouth. So they're pushing out the air of them just in their mouth. It's not actually in their lungs anymore. So they're breathing into their lungs while pushing out the air from their mouth. So now they're replacing the air in their mouth, and while they breathe in, they push the air out of their mouth again. So it's that circular breathing, which means that the note never stops. Obviously, I'm not, an expert in that at all, but I understand the process of how it works and being able to continue that breath and that output of air continuously. So I know people might be asking, well, beatboxing has been around for a very long time. So why does this sound so much more impressive than in previous decades? And it is really impressive, but a huge part of it is tuning. And when I say tuning, I mean pitch correction, so that the notes that are being created are sounding more like an instrument because they're being moved to where an instrument would have been. So it's not the pitch that is actually being hit during a performance, is post-edited to make it be even more accurate. And so here, for example, here, the E1, seriously low notes here, the C1, little bit flat there, but as we move back, we'll see how we've got this calibration to A440, and it's because of the nature of the noises, it's just being pulled over the E2, and this isn't a singing voice that's being plotted, it's just plotting the pitch that it's making out. So there, E2 at the bottom there, you can see that's calibrated as well. And the reason this is so important is because these pitches are getting logged in our brains, and if you hit the same pitch over and over again in the same place, such as this, the E2 being spot on here, going up just over the line, here going up and just over the line and on top of the line, it means that it's like hitting a note on a keyboard, which is what this is all kind of simulating. That's the point of it, especially when we go down low. It's like going back to your keyboard, just hitting the same bass note all the time. And that's why it sounds so good. I mean, it sounds so good because of the ability of the person doing it, but the thing that takes it above previous generations of beatboxers and in previous decades is now the technology can be used to tune all of the notes that you are creating. Beatboxers who didn't have that luxury of tuning their voice, they were trying to hit the notes by themselves. And we are going to look at a live version of this as well so that we can compare the pitch.
Dopamine.
I mean, good example here, just directly over that E1, really low notes here.
Dopamine now. Can you feel it now?
Yeah, oh, here we did get, again, holding this note on the E1 perfectly. So now we're going to listen to a live version of this particular beatboxing song, Dopamine. Oh, so, right, we'll just break that down. These notes that we had before where the note was really consistent of where it was being placed. Now, and this is the thing about humans, is that humans have human vocal cords and they all work the same way in that they're never going to be calibrated to A440. And you can see here the D3, we started flat and then we actually went above the D3. And then when we're maintaining the pitch here of the E3, we start below and then we go over the line. So there's so much variation in pitch that we're getting already just in the first two notes when it's a live performance. When we relate this to the previous performance that we've seen, which was more of a studio recorded track, I say track, but vocal, but mixed like a track, maybe boosting the bass frequencies, all that kind of stuff, as you would do with a full track, because that's what we're getting the sound of. It looked like, even though the notes were slightly off, the intervals were spot on. And we didn't really have this kind of variation. It was a lot flatter, and that's something that you can do in Melodyne. You can kind of squash it all down so that the vocal covers less pitch. So I think maybe in the intro of that other version, those first few notes were squashed down a little bit to maintain pitch a little bit more. Here we go, look, flat of the E3, and then we actually come up, go a little bit sharp, and I think here we're now transitioning to another note. Yeah. And here, flat, and then we go up to the F sharp 3. And here, bang on the E3, we come down a little bit flat here, go back up to the E3, actually a little bit above. And, I mean, okay, it's picked up the G2 there instead of the G3, but you can see how the accuracy here is really impressive. So what we've got here is the kind of accuracy that is possible with human vocal cords. I've always said, with the best singers of all time, they can hit these lines 2-3 times in a row, potentially, when they are really good at hitting pitches. And we've got what I would say is 2 lines in a row here, but then, of course, we get the reset. So this third time is now what would have been sharp of the G3, but we're seeing the G2. But you can see that's been plotted above that. This is really accurate, even though, yeah, we're looking at it and it goes down, it goes up, then it stays sharp, and then it comes down onto the line, it goes sharp again. This is really accurate. So, yeah, but there is always going to be a difference between a really accurate singer or beatboxer and then one that is tuned. The one that is tuned will not have this variation in there. And again, really good example here. And this isn't, me saying, oh, look, that, he's kind of on the line here, tiny bit sharp here, and then for the next 2, sharp, then between notes and between notes. I'm not saying, oh, look how off he is here. This is really accurate, but these are human vocal cords. You get resets. They aren't calibrated to A440. So maybe, listening to this, it's going to register more as a human voice because that's where the pitch is going. It's not calibrated to a keyboard. And now let's have a look at the bottom. If I can just move this down. Here, this E2, we were sharp. Whereas in that previous performance, we were coming down and being perfectly on these low notes all the time. So like I said, just like pressing a key on the keyboard, that's where the tuning was. And here, and that's you can't really see it at the bottom here because it is quite sharp now of the E2, so we can see the lines here, but we can't even see the note. And down here, again, sharp of the E2. So these notes are now not hitting that same place every time, so that's why it's going to register as more human. But this is still really accurate here, just sharp of the E3, and this is a little bit more sharp, maybe between notes. So we've got the, I guess the effect sound here of building up the sound, and that's why the notes aren't coming through as clearly. But then when the notes do come through clearly, you can see that they are clearly sharp, that they're not calibrated. And then look at this, the E2, we're now technically closer to the F2 than the low note. Again, in the other performance, this would have been perfectly over the E2. So, I mean, hopefully it's starting to make sense. As I'm not saying that this isn't massively impressive with what's going on, but I'm addressing why the other performance sounds so different to other beatboxes you might have heard. the tuning makes a huge difference. It will get it to sound like it is an instrument, like it is a keyboard. And you'll see this where the F2 here is constantly moving. It's not like a piano playing a straight note. It's kind of like almost like a bend, a small bend on the guitar. And sometimes we will get this kind of thing, bang over that F3, but human vocal cords means that we're not going to get 2, 3, 4 of these in a row. We're always going to get a reset. I mean, and there it was straight away. We're slightly sharp of the F3. And then, yeah, here from the E3 to the F3, we actually ascended. Let me move this up. You can see how much we're moving. It's not a straight line anymore. But then down here, really accurate with the E2. So you'll see this kind of thing. You don't need me to go through the whole track because we're now dealing with human vocal cords. This is just what they do. And you'll know this from all of my analysis videos when we've been looking at natural performances of great singers, that it will drift sharp and flat and it's never going to be calibrated to this graph. But anyway, thank you guys for requesting for me to take a look at beatboxing tonight and these two performances. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. As always, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Keep those requests coming to requests@wingsofpegasus.com. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!